from calling out President Trump to roasting Fetterman for his outfit. These are the times when politicians got destroyed by comedians, starting with the legendary roast master himself taking aim at a president. When Jeff Ross stepped up to the microphone at Donald Trump's roast, nobody expected him to hold back. What followed was a masterclass in savage comedy that left the audience gasping and Trump himself looking uncomfortable.
Donald and I have a lot in common. We both live in New York. We both play golf. We both fantasize about his daughter.
And Jeff was just getting warmed up. His next line about Trump's massive ego hit even harder.
Donald, doesn't it drive you crazy that you'll never build anything as high as me and Snoop right now? Donald's ego is so big, he videotapes himself masturbating and then masturbates to that video.
But Jeff saved his most brutal jab for last, one that would go down as one of the most controversial lines in roast history.
Trump is such an egomaniac, he makes Hitler seem like he wasn't completely sure how he felt about Jewish people.
The audience was stunned by the boldness of that final burn. But Jeff wasn't the only comedian unloading on politicians. Bill Burr is also known for having beef with them. Bill never holds back when it comes to politics, and his appearance on The View proved that. He immediately went after the entire political system with his signature no-nonsense approach.
So,
I'm not into politicians at all. They don't make any money. They're set up to be bribed, and in the end, they're all worth like $50 to $100 million. And everybody thinks one side is better than the other.
The hosts looked uncomfortable as Bill continued his rant about the current political climate. They weren't sure how to respond to his brutal honesty.
It's a weird time, but I just feel like someone needs to bring the boiling water down to a simmer, and everybody on both sides, like if you watch CNN, Fox, you go online, or you listen to politicians, it's all
But Bill wasn't done yet. He pointed out the disconnect between media hysteria and real life.
And then you walk out on the street, and someone's like, hey, how you doing? You're like, good. So I don't think they're living in like a reality.
But this wasn't the only time Bill shared his thoughts. He went on to destroy Trump on another show this time. When Bill Burr went on to the Conan show, the host asked if Bill had some kind of beef with politicians. Conan probably expected a typical comedian response, but Bill was about to deliver one of his most memorable political rants.
No, they didn't, and I don't understand why everybody's so upset.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna happen to you?
And he doesn't get why everyone was so upset about the election results and questioned what the big deal was.
You liked Obama. Did he call you at all in the last 8 years? Did he ever put a sandwich on your table? You do that. You're gonna keep doing that. You're gonna be fine.
Right.
Everybody's like, what's he gonna, oh my God.
And then, what he said next about Trump's victory shocked everyone.
Dude, I have to say though, him winning is the most astounding thing I've ever seen.
It was a surprise.
No. Surprise. Dude, like you're talking like Lake Placid, the Olympics, when we beat the Russian, buries that. Kirk Gibson's home run is a joke.
Right.
The Giants.
He couldn't believe a reality TV star was now running the country. The absurdity of the situation wasn't lost on Bill, and he made sure everyone understood just how crazy this whole thing was.
Dude, the star of a reality show is gonna run the country. The guy who decided if Brett Michaels or Cyndi Lauper would make a better CEO for a company that doesn't exist is gonna be running stuff. It's unbelievable.
He started throwing jabs at the politician, and to be honest, his analogy was perfect.
He was the shit though. He was like, he just reminded me like when I didn't read the book and I'm just winging it, And I'm gonna do it. How you gonna do that? Oh, you'll see. You'll see. It worked.
But Bill had to give Trump credit for one thing, his ability to get revenge. The story he was about to tell perfectly captured Trump's vindictive nature and his incredible ability to hold grudges.
Dude, he is the greatest shit talker of all time. He sat at like $100,000 breakfast while the president trashed him, humiliated him.
His impression of Trump bragging about his revenge was spot on, capturing the man's ego and the need to always be the winner in every story.
Hey, Donald, one time I was in a bar and this guy came in, oh, really? One time I was sitting, I paid $100,000 for breakfast. The President Trump, President, what the hell's his name? Barack?
Obama.
Yeah, Obama.
Yeah. I'm giving you structure now.
Yeah.
Obama.
He trashed me. 2 years later, I had a f***ing job. I kicked him out of his house.
And his jabs are getting funnier and way more savage with each punchline.
I don't know. I feel like the president, you only see him like once every 3 weeks. It'd be like if you were dating a chick and if she was a jerk, but you only saw her once every 3 weeks. There's like no way she could break your heart, you know?
His perspective was getting so wild that even Conan had to stop him, but the comedian went on again.
None of it made sense. Like this guy's saying he's gonna build a wall from California to like El Paso, Texas. Like, dude, I've done that drive. That's like a 2-day drive, 85 miles an hour. Like, ah! Like you're gonna build a wall.
And he even drags the politician's big promise, one that clearly isn't happening anytime soon, no matter how much they talk about it.
Do this. Like, how much is this gonna cost? How many times you gonna go to Home Depot? Like, how big is this thing gonna be? Look how long it took to build the Freedom Tower, and we wanted that. That took 15 years. Dude, by the time they build that thing, we're gonna be the ones going over it.
The political destruction didn't end when Adam Friedland went for John Fetterman. The comedian started out by pointing out how Congress had become.
When I saw that fight between AOC and the other congresswoman and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they were like, with your butch body and your bad haircut.
What is
like,
that all about?
It's the government. They're acting like fucking Jerry Springer right now. When I see that slob,
Right, but you're asking
when I see
me,
that
is there
lurch,
anyone who does that like I used to do?
He couldn't believe what he was seeing from elected officials.
it's the government. They're acting like fucking Jerry Springer right now. When I see that slob,
Right, but you're asking
when I see
me,
that
is there
lurch,
anyone who does that like I used to do? People
that's
are
not
just,
like what you used to do.
He pointed out how far Congress had fallen from its original purpose.
Doing was like you were standing up for a piece of legislation and you were standing up for people. You were talking shit about someone's
Fair enough.
haircut
Fair enough, but
and
I'm-
your outfit looked bad.
Adam was disgusted by the unprofessional behavior he was witnessing.
It's trash. When I see that slob, that lurch Fetterman, I'm like, put on a fucking shirt. You're in the government. Have some fucking respect. It's the government.
He even had thoughts about Fetterman's wardrobe choices. The observation about him looking worse in a suit than in casual clothes was both brutal and hilarious.
He wore a suit. Was when Netanyahu came and spoke to the Congress, and he looked worse in the suit. I got you there. I got you there.
Speaking of political battles, Jimmy Kimmel had his own war of words with Trump that got very personal. A Rolling Stone article came out over the weekend, headlined, "Trump White House Pressured Disney to Censor Jimmy Kimmel." And Kimmel wasn't about to let this slide without a response.
A blowhard and a snowflake. He's a blowflake is what he is. He should change the hats to say "Make America Wine Again," Mawa, because...
And the comedian even pointed out the hypocrisy of the politician trying to silence him.
When you think of all the people I regularly make fun of, it's a lot of people. The only two who've tried to stop me are Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who actually called the cops on me. I made fun of OJ 1,000 times. He hasn't tried to kill me once.
Kimmel also highlighted Trump's own history of making fun of people. The list of people he had insulted was endless, which made the whole situation feel even more hypocritical.
This guy, Donald Trump, all he does is make fun of. He makes fun of disabled journalists. He calls our veterans prisoners of war, even losers. He insults his opponents, his friends, his family. But if I point out that he's so fat they renamed the plane Air Force Wonder Bread, I'm the bad guy all of a sudden?
He couldn't resist one more personal jab about Trump's marriage.
You know what? Maybe this is why Donald and Melania sleep in separate bedrooms. She was laughing too hard at my monologue at night.
But then, Kimmel got serious about the bigger issue at hand. This was about fundamental rights and the abuse of presidential power.
What, and a blatant abuse of power. I wonder if Fox News, they're always screaming about censoring comedians. Will they defend me on this? I doubt it. We have a First Amendment right that Americans a hell of a lot braver than Donald Trump died for, and it's especially hypocritical coming from someone who claims to be the bigliest anti-censorship defender of free speech.
He pointed out the perfect opportunity for congressional testimony that was missed, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect.
This is a shame. Jim Jordan just had his big congressional hearing on the weaponization of the federal government, and I couldn't be there to testify about a president of the United States who abused his authority to silence someone who disagrees with him and tried to muzzle free speech.
And the comedian ended with an invitation that Trump probably won't accept.
For Trump, if you want to come on the show to tell me to be quiet yourself, we still have that arcade claw machine the My Pillow guy got in. You can climb inside and say whatever's on your delicate little mind, okay?
Next up, another host decided to take aim at a political figure. Samantha Bee talks about her views, or more like destroys Sarah Sanders, and right from the start, she delivered a line to clear her view on the press secretary's role.
In our latest installment of Great Feminists in Feminism Herstory, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is a fucking liar. Good night, everyone.
And she defended her right to criticize Sanders professionally.
Calling Sanders a liar isn't an insult, it's her job description. Feminism doesn't mean you can never make jokes about another woman ever.
She even threw in a bonus jab at another TV personality just to prove she was an equal opportunity critic.
If it did, then I couldn't say that Mika clearly stole her scarf off of Steven Tyler's microphone stand.
Bee also highlighted Sanders' ability to deflect tough questions. The irony was that Sanders called the press liars, while she was the one spreading the lies.
Sanders is very good at her job. She is amazing. When a man had her job, he literally ran for the bushes. But if the press thinks being called a liar is a huge insult, maybe they should be mad at Sarah herself, since she calls them liars constantly.
The political commentary continued with Bill Burr sharing some very controversial opinions about first ladies. Bill Burr on his stand-up comedy show had some harsh words about Michelle Obama that shocked his audience. You could feel the tension in the room as Bill prepared to cross a line that most comedians wouldn't dare approach.
I'm sick of Obama's wife. Yeah. Just running her. This isn't some Democrat Republican shit. This is just in general. Just running her yap. It's just like, shut up.
The comedian made it clear his issue wasn't partisan, but about the role of first ladies in general.
You weren't elected. You know, your husband isn't running a lemonade stand. He's running the country. No, generally speaking, first ladies, they've been out of line for a good 25, 30 years. They think for some reason that their husband has the job, that now they should be chiming in like they know some shit.
To make his point, he even used a chaotic analogy that had the crowd both laughing and gasping.
A leak at your house and you called the plumber, and the plumber comes in and he starts fixing it. What would you do if 5 seconds later his wife, who isn't a plumber, comes walking in? Well, I think we should route it over here. It's like, shut up! Just because you're fucking the plumber doesn't mean you understand plumbing.
Bill then turned his attention to Hillary Clinton's political career. The audience could sense he was about to say something that would make headlines, and they weren't wrong.
Like my fears, because they're trying to tell us down south there that they're starting to gear up for Hillary Clinton to be running for president, saying I think that would be a good thing. Yeah, people clapping. What is that based on? Based on what? I don't get how she became a senator. That's shocking to you? She went from never holding political office to immediately being a senator. Why, because she was fucking the president?
And the roast session came to an end when Bill delivered one last punch.
Should Tom Brady's wife be the next quarterback of the Rams? Does he have some sort of magical powers? Like you suck at sports? I couldn't throw it all, and then he fucked me, and I just picked up this ball, and I was just lacing it in there. It was incredible.
But the political roasting wasn't over yet. Seth MacFarlane had his own brutal takedown of Trump. The Family Guy creator is known for his sharp wit, but when he roasted Donald Trump, it became one of the most unforgettable celebrity roasts ever.
We honor a self-made millionaire. He started with nothing, worked hard, and made a fortune. That man is Fred Trump, Donald's dad.
And that's when the comedian immediately called out Trump's privileged background.
That's right, for all of his self-starter bullshit, he's basically Jaden Smith with a comb-over. You're a grown man, you got hair like Dennis the Menace. What's going on here? Did you fall head first into a cotton candy machine? What happened?
MacFarlane then mocked Trump's pronunciation and delusions of grandeur. The jokes were subtle, but enough to stir things up.
And Donald, as long as I have you here, it's pronounced huge, not huge. And here's another one. It's pronounced I am delusional, not I am running for president.
And the comedian didn't stop there. He went on to take aim at Trump's presidential ambitions and the timing of it all.
That's right. Trump says he's going to run for president in 2012. But if his plan for America is to fire everyone, he's about 2 years too late.
And he couldn't resist making fun of Trump's facial expressions.
But for me, it's kind of tough to vote for a guy whose resting facial expression is "who farted." He also sells Trump cologne, and fellas, that stuff can really get you laid. Basically, you pour it onto a cloth and press it to a woman's face until she stops struggling.
The comedian ended with perhaps the most brutal jab of the night.
But even when you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, hard times can strike, and that's just what happened to Donald. He was even forced into the ultimate act of degradation, starring in his own reality show. And soon, the top-rated TV show in the nation starred a total asshole torturing people who were stupid enough to work with him.
Finally, we have Jimmy Carr weighing in on the political correctness debate that's been dominating politics. Jimmy Carr delivered one of his most controversial stand-up bits that had audiences both shocked and laughing.
People that adhere to political correctness are, in my opinion, retarded faggots.
Carr knew exactly how controversial his word choice was, but he didn't stop and went on with his jabs.
I can see some of you sitting in judgment thinking, oh, retarded faggots, that is an offensive phrase. But it's not that offensive a phrase. Not when you compare it to my impersonation of a retarded faggot.
I want to talk to me. I'm really your mama.
The comedian then did an impersonation that had the audience laughing to the point of tears.
I want to talk to me. I'm really your mama.
That's offensive. Compared to that, phrase doesn't seem as bad now, does it?